I'm coming back in December for title shot. I had my February fight. I had my August fight, and they both went well. First round finish in February, second round finish in August, and now we are fighting for the first UFL Bantamweight title here in Arizona, back at Legacy Park in Mesa, and I'm excited for the opportunity more than anything.
Yeah. How does that make you feel, especially, with this kind of promotion just starting up? You get to have the opportunity to fight for one of their first belts, and you get to do it in a pretty big crowd, pretty big scene. Really stiff.
Even though the promotion might be newer, they're one of the top promotions in the United States for sure.
Yeah.
Like, if you say, okay, the United States, there are a ton of promotions. This is what people don't know. Every state that has MMA has 2 or 3 local promotions. Why haven't any of them become big national promotions yet?
Yeah.
Why hasn't any of those become feeders for Bellator and UFC? It's like, yeah, it's crazy. There are 3 shows in, and you could say top 4 promotions. They might be the 4th as far as notoriety. You got UFC, Bellator, PFL, UFL.
Mm-hmm.
But in 4 shows, they are already out ranking all the other local national shows in the U.S. It's like, come on, it's not a small promotion. It's only it might not be as well known a promotion, but it's not a small promotion. You've been to the shows.
Yeah.
Fucking Rampage Jackson, Ben Henderson, Jared Cannonier, guys just walking around. You're like, these guys were UFC and Bellator champs and WC champs, and they're bringing their guys at their coach, so the level of fighting is on the same level as UFC and Bellator. You're like, bro, these, just because you don't know the name doesn't mean they're not fucking making waves. And after 3 shows, I'm like, I am a visionary, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be one of the biggest promotions in the U.S. They're offering healthcare, bigger purses, they're taking care of the fighters, and it's growing so fast. And I'm like, just from the first show to the 3rd show, I was like, damn, they're already improving stuff. And the first show was great, and just, it's looking better, it's feeling better, it's a big stage. And I just say all that to say this is like, I'm super excited about the opportunity to have a chance to fight for the first. I was like, you can't take that away from anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're the first at doing something, yeah, somebody could be the next person to do it, but you're the first. So
yeah.
You don't have an opportunity to fight for the first UFL Bantamweight title. And that can be cemented in the UFL's history. You got to think of it like when the UFC had their first heavyweight title. And I don't remember who it was, but I remember all the way back to Randy Couture and Ken Shamrock and all these guys. It's like, can you imagine? You look back now, those guys, the first UFC champions. You know how
it's cemented there forever.
Exactly. That's the paved road. It's like, so what I can do, what I can do, or the opportunity I have to do, can help pave the road for fighters behind me or next to me or on the same road that want to do things and to do it the right way. And that's what I try to do with my brand. And I show everybody when I come to fights, I was like, you can expect me to be entertaining, because that's just kind of who I am. I'm a little ham in front of the camera. I like it, but it doesn't distract me, and it doesn't make me waver or wilt. I'm just like, oh man, okay, the lights, the camera, the action, shit. It's time to show everybody what I've been working on in the dark for years and years and years. And I'm like, well, you could do it by being yourself. You don't have to act out of character and be a fucking hoodlum and fucking disrespect people and countries and religions and all this just to get attention. You don't have to do that. You can be genuinely yourself. I'm always professional. Be on time, be early, Don't just be on time, be early, be there, be present, and be valuable.
Yeah.
You can talk. I talk my shit without, disrespecting anyone. I'm like, I have really good sound bites. I haven't mentioned nobody's mama. I ain't mentioned nobody's country. I ain't mentioned nobody's religion. But I'm just being me. And I'm like, I don't have to put on for that. So you just be 100% genuinely be you. And I believe that this path that I'm on will also help fighters and people realize that you could just be 100% and genuinely who you are. And don't act like who you are, if that makes sense. Sometimes we're like, oh man, people were like, man, back when I was in high school, when I was in college, like this, I used to be like this. And then they try and act like a previous version of themselves.
Yeah. And
Imposter syndrome.
exactly. And it's like that, I don't want to say bluntly say fakeness, but it lacks the authenticity.
Yeah. You know how crazy it is to feel like you have to act like yourself? Like, think about that. You're going to act like anybody, but then it's like double awkward because you're like, oh man, I used to be like that. It's like, no, be who you are right now in this current moment. Who I am when I first started fighting and what drove me to become a better fighter, and people call it motivation, but I would say motivated me or just driving forces and fuel in my career early is not the same fuel that was when I first turned pro. It's not the same fuel now.
Yeah.
My principles are the same. I just use a different source of fuel.
Yeah.
And, that fuel's at 3. I thought you do that. But, yeah, so it's just like, be you. And be who you are in the moment you are. And that's why I said feelings a lot to you, because sometimes you feel bad, so you feel like you got to be bad. I'm not feeling good, so I got to put on this space. It's like, no, like, feel what you feel, but be who you genuinely feel like you have to be. And like, when I go do my job out there and I fight, I'm like, man, it's a representation of who I am. So when you see me on the interview, you see me on my walkout, you see the Instagram posts, you see any podcast, any media stuff, it's like I'm representing me and my moral values and who I am at its core. You like it or you don't have to like it.